Seven Trumpets Prepper. Guys, in this road trip video today, I'm going to talk to you about, do you ever think about eternity? A lot of people, I don't think they think about things, what I would say, on a quantum level. And what I mean by that is people don't think about eternity. For those of us in faith and who believe, I think they absolutely think about it, but as to a lot of people, I don't think they do. And when you look at the scripture, I believe it's in Psalms. It says, the living know they'll die, the dead know not anything. And forgive me if I misquote any of this. I'm going to make sure to put these scripture references in the video description below. The book of Job talks about that his sons come to honor him, and he knoweth it not. It says in the book of Daniel that the righteous will rise and shine like the stars of the firmament. And Paul, I think a lot of people will mix up Paul's words to be absent from the being is to be present with the Most High God. Listen, this is just a man talking with you. I'm not trying to be a pastor teacher. I'm just pointing this out from my own viewpoint. I've been looking at some things here very serious. This year I have a heavy goal of just trying anything that has not been in full alignment with the Most High. I want to bring it in full alignment by Day of Atonement this year. And I've thought about this, that, a lot of people, they don't understand that eternity is one heartbeat away. And it literally is. And I'll give you an example of this. My grandmother, I watched her die in the ICU. And I watched her take the very last beat on her heartbeat, and she was gone. Forgive me, guys, I'm getting off exit here. Just want to be careful. And anyway, long and short of it, the next conscious thought she's going to have is waking up in the resurrection, either to eternal everlasting righteousness or to eternal damnation. Because people think that, another thing that irritates me is these pastors teach this everlasting burning lake of fire. But if we look at scripture, it talks about that the wicked will be turned to ash and the righteous will tread them under their feet. Well, I'm going to have a lot of scripture to drop in this video below today. But anyway, aside from your thoughts on hell, or Sheol, the grave, and the actual lake of fire, Gehenna, besides that point, I just want to say that, when we're talking about life and death and eternity, when you factor that in, if I got killed in a car wreck right now, I'm setting a stoplight, but if I got hit by a car and died in a car wreck, my next conscious thought is going to be waking up to the judgment. That is a whole new dynamic, a whole new perspective to look at life if you haven't looked at it like that. And I think that if more people thought and reasoned in their mind with that perspective, I think that their decisions, their actions, their motives would be a lot more different as to how they treated other humanity and themselves. Because like today we're coming back from helping out on New Moon Day at Fellowship, doing helping the homeless in Knoxville. And a lot of those people there, one of the officers was talking today with me about that people, pretty much drug overdose, died, and then like been resuscitated. And it's like, it's so sad, because like whether you're somebody homeless on the street or the rich man in the top floor of the huge nice apartment place in New York City, skyrise or whatever, we all going to go out the same, because we're all going to die. And now how we die, that may be obviously very different, but the end game's still the same. And I was looking in the book of 2nd Esdras, and if you haven't read 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha writing, Ezra talks about that, because of the sufferings of man, pretty much, I'm just summarizing this now. You need to just read the whole book, all right? But I'm just summarizing, like, from what I see from Ezra's perspective, is that talks about, like, the sufferings of man. It'd been better had just man not been made, because a lot of people are bad seed. A lot of people's never going to inherit the kingdom, and pretty much he lamented that what Adam done, because he's like, it wasn't just you that was affected. Now it's all your seed. And that goes for the sons of Japheth, like me, the seed of Shem, which Hebrew Israelites, many of them descend from, and then the seed of Ham. All of us that come from Noah, that come from Adam, we're all under that same ban. And people don't think about the minute your last breath goes out of your body, whether you're Adam that's laid in the grave now for 5,000 some, yeah, around 5,000 years, I believe, if I'm doing my math right, and because Adam lived almost 1,000 years, so yeah, we're 5,000 some years, and or whether you're the guy that just died on the operating table this minute, just died, they just called it, okay? That, if you look at that with quantum thinking, and I'm not a scientist, I can't break this down for you other than just a simple man, but that is like that next conscious thought of Adam, or the next conscious thought of the guy that just died, excuse me, are going to be the same, because the judgment is going to be the next thing they see, whether, judge righteous or judge wicked. It's going to be a conscience next thing, because I equate that to like last night I went to bed, and I cannot tell you how much time passed. The stars moved by and everything else that went on, and the heavens above me. But what I do know is I woke up, the sun was up, and X amount of hours have passed, 7-8 hours have passed, and here I am again, back on the move. And when people look at that with life and death, you got to understand you're closer to the Most High Yah than people put on, is because two things change your perspective real quick. When you figure out that you're in a geostationary flat earth under a firmament dome, and the water's above that, and the Most High Yah is thrown above that, He's very close. And the minute that you close your eyes in death, the next conscious thought will be eternity, because you've got to understand, when you look at things quantum, there's just this long line, okay? And so, the Most High knows the beginning from the end, so, He just sees things, the best I can observe from Scripture and from looking at everything as a whole, is there's just this one continuation. So, whether your Adam died a long time ago, or whether the man died tomorrow, eternity's just that next blink away. And dude, that just flips my lid when I go to thinking about that, It is just so deep at that point, and it makes you even more cautious and aware as a believer, because it's like, man, I've got to bring everything in alignment, because and this whole once saved always saved thing goes out the window, because I'm telling you, it's like it makes you wake up in realization that it's like, I need to confess my sins daily. I need to try to be the very best version of me I can daily, because if I die today, the next conscious thought I'm going to have is eternity. And I'll say this, and this is the last thing I'll say in the video, is yesterday I was at a wedding for a friend, beautiful wedding. Wish them the absolute best life. I'll tell you what, there's two most precious things you can have in life, three actually, is the Most High Yah salvation through Messiah Yahushua, a wife, and a family. That's nothing else matters, because you come in this world with nothing, you'll leave with nothing. But those three things right there are an extension of your own being. That personal relationship with the Most High, your relationship with a significant other, and life that you've created together. That's something precious. Nobody can ever take that from you. Anyway, I was at that wedding. I looked over, and here these people are joining themselves to become one flesh in the eyes of the Most High Yah. And there's this graveyard full of people from many, many generations laying there, because that church was built, I believe, in 1912. And it's going to be like one conscious moment for all of them. Like the next thought, like this guy died in the Civil War, this guy died in Vietnam, this guy died at a car wreck, this woman died 97 years old knitting on her front porch. And the next conscious thought is standing before the judgment. Now think about that one today, alright? When you do, it changes the dynamic of how you view life, because it's like every day's got to count for something. If you haven't told somebody you loved them, today's a real good day to get it done. I just don't know what more to say on it, guys, is that, eternity is literally just a heartbeat away, and I think that a lot of people don't think enough on it. I've thought about it all my whole life, especially from a child growing up. Just death has been something that's always been like a great mystery to me, and, the more I got in the Scripture, the more I looked at it, it's very simple. Transition from this world to the next is just, it's going to be one conscious moment. And I believe that with all my heart. And that's why that with Paul, very last note, is if you look at what Paul's saying, he's not saying you die right now and you instantly up in the heavens. I hear pastors teach that at funerals. I see people being like, please don't preach this at my family's funeral, because we all know they laying in the grave rotting until the new kingdom. But it's funny, and it's not funny at the same time, because you are not instantly in the new heaven. But at the same thing, Paul didn't lie, because the next, to be absent from this body, this life, is to be present with the Most High. The next conscious thought them people are going to have is to be present with the Most High. So it's going to be like a moment in time. You went to sleep last night, it felt like a moment in time, you woke up. Unless you like me and you wake up 3-4 times in the night half time. Welcome to Working Man 101. But you get my point, Jess, I hope. Hope it's a help to you guys. Until we see you again here at 7 Trumpets Prepper Channel. As always, I hope you have a most precious, blessed day in Yahushua name.